frequently asked question. You say the ones you cited were dark brown, but that is not the thylacine coat colour. Now I've also said from the individuals that I cited were dark brown. Now you know that, everybody knows that a thylacine is supposed to be yellow. Yellow with chocolate brown stripes. That's the thylacine coat colour. But what I saw was not that, it was dark brown. Unmistakable thylacine. The shape, the animal was the two animals I saw were thylacines, but they were dark brown. Now at the time, I didn't have an answer to that, but I just reported what I saw. You can only say what you saw. So that's what I reported. You know, again, it troubled me for years. Imagine the turmoil in my head of trying to justify my own memory of what I'd seen. You know, if somebody says they've seen a thylacine, they have to justify it in their head. Did you? Or did you see dogs or cats or what? So I had to battle, this mental battle to justify what I'd seen in my own head for years, because it was not the thylacine coat colour, which is yellow. Now since then, we've put together a lot of information, myself and others, and there's various conclusions that you can draw, and one is that in a museum, skins, certainly it appears to be skins of a thylacine, fade over time. They go lighter. The general thylacine coat colour, when you pull a skin out of a bucket of a drum of alcohol or whatever, pull a skin out that's been in there for say 50, 60 years, it's not yellow, it's a darker cinnamon colour, it's a darker brown. Having said that, the eastern half of Tasmania is drier, and in summer when the grasses die they go yellow. So it is likely that thylacines on the eastern side of Tasmania were generally that lighter yellow colour with chocolate brown stripes, yellow sandy colour. But one thing about Tasmania is the western half is very different from the eastern half. The western half is wetter, darker, thicker bush, and there's a trend among marsupials where if you have a look at possums, for example, on the eastern side they're grey, they're light, they're a light colour, but on the western side they're dark brown. And just generally you get grey ones on the west and you get brown ones in the east, but the general trend is that the western half of Tasmania has brown possums, the eastern half has grey possums. And it's the same with wombats, probably other marsupials as well. Now, one theory is that perhaps the southwest, particularly the southwest, had a population of thylacines there that was darker brown. All of the lighter ones were killed off first in the eastern half of Tasmania and northern Tasmania. They were the ones that were killed off first. They're the ones that ended up in museums. But since then, these days, perhaps what we're seeing now is darker brown thylacines that are walking up out of the southwest, and again they're being encountered by tourists or people who are looking for it, so on. So one thing about that is, one foundation for that concept is that when you have a look at the sighting reports, now there's a whole raft of sighting reports that haven't been available to the public. They're in the secret government thylacine file, and when you get those, there's about 500 of them. When you get those and you actually look at them, about 75% of sightings since 1980 have been of dark brown thylacines, with the stripes not necessarily visible. Now I didn't know that in 2002. I said, look, well, what I saw is dark brown, I don't know. Now it's a shocking revelation that other people have seen exactly the same thing and described it as being dark brown. Now I'll just add one last element to that, is that what I didn't know in 2002 when I saw two dark brown thylacines, what I didn't know was that 1 month before, on the same road, a tourist couple described precisely the same thing. A thylacine that jumped off the side of the road. They said it was unmistakable thylacine, but it was dark brown. Now they didn't make that up. How could they invent a story like that? How could I invent a story like that when the public expects to see yellow? No, we said, ooh, it's dark brown. So you get two corroborating, totally independent reports of the same thing, dark brown. So anyway, that's the trend now. What I would suggest is, if somebody's going to see a thylacine in Tasmania and it's dark brown, well, don't be surprised about that, because that's what's probably seems to be what should happen.